little bit later, which is always the case. But we got a good solid attendance. Hey, Kiana, welcome aboard. I knew she was fantastic. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi, lady. I'm going to mute your line. We're going to mute everybody just to kick off, but we'll unmute when we take questions and have some interactive parts. So no worries. So ground rules, some of you have been on my webinars before will know that this is interactive. This is about me being of service to you and helping you sort of uncover areas in the spiritual realm, in the metaphysical realm of interest. Chakras has been a big one. A lot of people ask me about this one. So this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. As you know, we had planned to originally do this in December, but luckily enough, I trusted my instincts and my intuition and decided to postpone until January because I knew with the new year, the new decade, that folks would be a little bit, again, more available because we're post-holiday season. And then also looking to sort of become, as we do during this time of resolution, our best versions of ourselves. So chakras is one of those things that is very much aligned to that thematically. So the timing couldn't be better, and if all things, I always say, work out just the way they're supposed to be. So I'm pulling up a couple of just notes I had that I don't want to forget, so that's why my eyes are down. Okay, and now they're back up. So let's just keep on rocking and rolling. So who am I? I'm Dewan Price, Dewan Price, founder of What Juan Knows. As many of you may know, What Juan Knows is sort of the brainchild that I came up with over the years. It started primarily in the social media realm on Instagram, where I really leveraged my space and my social media presence to be a source of positivity, mostly out of my own sort of original selfish motivations in a dark space. I really had to find the light again. And so I had made a request to the universe to make me light, and you know it always happens in the unpredictable way. And so my Instagram sort of became this platform and got a bigger following than I ever anticipated. Over 1,000 people at this point, some who are very dear and close to me, dear friends, and others who I meet virtually, and who others will be future friends, you know. But as we grow the community and the platform, it's become a website and a blog and a newsletter and all these different things to help me have my creative outlet, and more importantly, help me engage with you in terms of helping you use creativity to create community and a special space where we can share with each other the sort of love and the generosity and abundance of the universe. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletters, those come out monthly along with some blogs, some sweepstakes and other goodies. Do so at whatjuanknows.com. That's what, W-H-A-T, Juan, J-U-A-N, knows, and that's based off of my name, Dewan, but a lot of y'all just call me Juan, which I love as well. So again, there's poetry, there's social commentary, there's all things metaphysical there, sort of the mosaic of my mind put to some sort of logic, along with some travel stuff, because I love to travel as well. So as that grows, continue to share, like, follow, friend, or whatever you do in your social media space to help me build and share if you find value here. All right, we'll keep it rolling. So I mentioned around the sort of clarion call behind the What Juan Knows platform. And chakras is one of those things that couldn't be more aligned to my brand and what I'm trying to do in this universe. I got a really, really sweet email from a dear friend and a participant on today's webinar. I won't call her out, but she was saying how fun these webinars are. This one is a little bit more heavy than some of the other ones we did because chakras hit on a lot of things that are really near and dear to us in terms of emotional health, spiritual health, and physical health. So I will do my best to keep it honest, to keep it real, to keep it light, like I always do. Just know that first and foremost, some disclaimers. I am not a health practitioner, a dietitian, a psychologist, a preacher, a baby teacher, any of those things. I am a spiritual consultant, and I do practice some tarot, crystal healing modalities. But like I said, chakras play a huge role in that because they're all about energy centers in the body. So anything related to health that we might touch on here, just know that that's always within the sort of own space of your own intuition to know what's right for you, and also that of your medical practitioner. I just want to put that out there in case folks see something of value and want to learn more. Always, always, always consult with your therapists, physicians, dietitians, all of those folks that are certified in those areas, because expertise comes in all forms. And listen, I have a numerologist, an astrologist, a life coach, a dietitian. Who else I have? I don't have a psychologist anymore, but I used to have one of them because I throw everything at it to be the best version of myself. So please don't think you need just one. Use all the expertise and resources around you on your journey to growth. So continuing on, chakras. So everyone's talking about chakras now. You see it in pop culture, in movies, all over social media, that's for sure. And a lot of folks are always trying to figure out, well, what is it? It's a Sanskrit term, and it's a wheel. And essentially, they are energy centers in the body. And usually when we're talking about chakras, people are focusing on those hot seven. It's essentially those discs in those spaces. And interestingly enough, when we get to talking around the different chakras in the body, where they show up, you'll see that you may be conscious of them in a way that you never thought you were. Like, you might not have known the name for it, but for instance, when you get a headache or some other pain, you might find yourself rubbing your temples like this. Or when you're sad, you might, channel that into your heart chakra here, rubbing like this. I mean, things we do intuitively all sort of tie back to the universal and long history of chakra energy. And I think that sort of speaks to, I don't like the word credibility, but the credibility of it and the sort of, again, long history of it, to know that there's some real truth here and things you can tie into your everyday life. So we'll keep on rolling to the next slide. So what do you know about chakras? At this point, I do encourage you to share, because I just want to see where the knowledge level is on the call. So I know we have some folks with deeper knowledge, I know for sure, on the line, and they're welcome to share. Just don't steal my thunder with my slides. But if you have a few words you want to talk about in terms of what you know about chakras, I'm open to hearing it. So you can go ahead and unmute your line if you have any thinking about what you know about chakras. And then I'll tell you a bit more about what I know about chakras, and we can share and exchange knowledge. So any thoughts? And I'll also look and see if anyone shares in the chat as well. And I know it's not going to be radio silence. I know there are folks on here that they have knowledge.
Hi, this is Tamara. I had my chakras balanced last spring for the first time, so that was my introduction. So I'm just in the phase where I'm ready to learn more and kind of get a little deeper.
Okay, Tamara. So what I'm going to do is end up pulling on you to talk about a little bit more, if you're willing to share a little bit more about what that experience was like. I had a similar reading done this summer with a wonderful Reiki healer that's no longer DC based, unfortunately, but I do know of others that I can refer you to if people have that interest. And we'll talk all about balancing and what that even means for folks that are like balancing, because that's what I always get. Are my chakras unbalanced? Are they stopped? Are they backwards? What's going on with my chakras? And any or all of those things can be the case, and a reliable healer can help you figure out what's going on there. Any other thoughts in terms of that? People that have had experience with chakras, just to get an idea of what the knowledge set on the line is.
This is Tiffany. It's simply, well, in my head, they align to your different, whether it's ailments, physical, emotional aspects of your body, your psychological, like everything is aligned or fits into a certain chakra. And like you said, the cleansing or the clearing, and it kind of helps put everything in focus, everything in alignment with the universe. So
excellent. Yeah, y'all know a lot. That's awesome. With those are both really good sort of places to start. And I think it takes us nicely as a segue to our next slide. because as folks have mentioned, they are positioned in the body in different spaces. And yes, they are certainly tied to the emotional and physical sort of ways we interact with both each other, ourselves, and, as was mentioned, the universe. So, so I'm from Northeast DC, born and raised, and I have a hard enough time with English. So I picked the Sanskrit pronunciations throughout this document. You can go onto YouTube and they will pronounce it for you. I practiced all week knowing this was coming up, but it's just not my ministry. So I'm not going to try, but you know, we're going to roll with the English version. So I hope no one is like, you know, if I will give it a shot in some cases where I feel comfortable. Just know the Sanskrit is a little bit of a bridge too far for me, and I know my ministries, and I know where I need to stay in my lane. So we have 7 major chakra energy centers, but know that there are more than 7, which to me is both a really I don't want to say scary thing, but it's a good thing and a scary thing, because I feel like just when I get my 7 somewhat aligned, you're telling me I have 127 more that I didn't even know about. But nonetheless, we know that the body is a beautiful, miraculous, and a complicated thing. So having this knowledge set to start with, I think, is super important. So don't worry about all the other chakras. Let's just focus on these 7. And as we roll through it, what I want to do is tell you some anecdotes from my life and where I've been doing work, particularly in the lower 3. For me, in my journey, root, sacral, and solar plexus have been a very essential space of healing, and we'll talk all about what that means. So some healers will say that you need to sort of work upward in terms of your journey into the process of healing. I tend to think that it's an ongoing journey, and I feel like every time I feel like I get one healed, something happens in a revelation in another, and I find myself going backwards, sideways, and you know, up and down across all of them. So my thinking is, and I feel free to give other thinking online, is that you sort of meet this like you do anything else in life, where it feels intuitively right for you. And that could be, you know, I was talking to a client about this over the weekend. You know, some of us may feel that we have a healthy heart chakra, for example, because we're very loving and we're very giving, but perhaps we're too loving and too giving. Understand the boundaries there. So there's any number of ways to approach this. So the first thing I want to say is there's nothing wrong with you. If you feel like you have a chakra blocked, going backwards in terms of the rotation, or it's overproductive, and we'll talk about what that means as well. It just means that on your journey, it's a hint, it's an intuitive pool of where you have some work that you would want to do if you want to continue to grow and have the best and most optimal health from a spiritual, mental, and physical standpoint. So I think sometimes we tie the chakra pieces to, oh, it's broken, or it's wrong, or I'm stuck. And I don't want people to feel like they're broken, wrong, and stuck, because I just don't think it's productive. So I wanted to share that. And then going across the 7 chakra energy centers. So the main boys, we talked about my favorites, well, not favorites, but my sort of work areas, which are root, and we'll get in details about all of these, sacral, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat, third eye, and crown. And the good thing about it is the names sort of give you an indication as to where they are. So if you ever forget, just know the lower 3 are the sort of the foundational ones, the ones that give you your footing, your self-confidence, knowing who you are, feeling safe, those Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Those are sort of all tied down there, along with desire and some other things we'll talk about. But when you get further up, it gets to the sort of higher minded self around how you're loving in the world, how you're communicating, how you're intuiting, and how you're knowing and showing up across different spaces. So that's how you can think about it, like a house building upward, root, the foundational pieces going up to the crown, and that's sort of where you have actualized into the highest version of self. In some spaces would consider it that way. So continuing on. So the chakra system dates back to 1500 BC. They were first introduced in India in the Hindu scriptural text known as the Vedas. So that's a Hindu scripture. I won't get into the great details on that because I want to spend a lot of time sort of talking about the individual texts, but they show up beyond just Indian and Hindu culture. You're going to see it in Japanese culture and Chinese culture as well. And there you'll see it as chi and kai, different ways to the nomenclature around it. But again, spinning wheels of energy and light. So remember I told you that I told the universe I wanted to be light? Chakra stuff showed up certainly thereafter because the universe always responds to what we say we want. Here's a funny aside. So I just moved into a new place and you all can see I bought this candle back when I told you all I wanted to be light. It's a solar plexus chakra candle. When I bought this candle, I had no clue in creation what a solar plexus was, what a chakra was, what any of the things we're talking about in the last several webinars were. It was sort of the beginning of my spiritual journey and practice. And that just shows you, and I think I'm getting the goosebumps, so I know for a fact this is a real sort of indication from the universe that everything shows up at the right time when you need it. Hadn't burned it at all. But in moving to the place and unpacking boxes, I found it unburned, and I needed to work on this particular chakra for any number of reasons. And it says, ideal for use in meditation, chakra rebalancing, relaxing to music, or sitting into your sacred space. So we'll talk more about different ways to connect with your chakras, candles being one of them. But I just thought that was the neatest thing, how the universe shows up like that. And I wanted to share that with you all. So chakras regulate all the process in your organ function to your immune system and your emotions. So you see the graphic on the side, again, showing the sort of chakra spaces in the body. And I thought she was dope because of her hair and everything. So I just wanted to include that. Okay, moving on. There are dozens of chakras, as I mentioned before, throughout the human body. The 7 main we talked about along the spine. The goal is, again, to open them up and align them, as Tiffany mentioned, in order to let the ultimate healing energy known as prana flow freely throughout the bodies. So has anybody on the line, and I don't know if I can see this, maybe you can put hands up in the chat or drop some information, done Bikram yoga or Kundalini yoga or any kind of yoga practice or meditative practice that focused on prana energy? This is what this would have been focused on, aligning those chakras. So all of that is excellent for that work. And again, we'll talk more about that. But those of you in the yoga space, again, you're doing work to align your chakras and your spine. And I see a note in the chat. Yep, in the yoga practice, the root to the crown in her yoga practice. Absolutely. Yep, that's what it's about. And you will find, as I found on Sunday when I went to an 1.5 hour Bikram yoga or hot yoga class down the street, that the sinus infection that I've been fighting with away, which means I need to be in yoga at least 3 to 4 times a week. So I'm working that out right now because I know that's what my chakra system needs. And continuing on, I see we have a few other folks join the line. I just want to acknowledge people as they join. So hey, Brandon. Hey, Mai. Welcome to the chat. So happy to have you on. So this is a great slide, and I wanted to include it because sometimes this stuff feels so esoteric and, foreign even, and we don't know what it really means. I wanted to break it down to the fundamentals and just understand and sort of as I was explaining before, as you go throughout the body, you move up the chakra system, you will see a sort of evolution and understanding of who you are and how you relate to the world. So at your root, it's I am. It's that biblical I am that gives you the shudder down your spine. I think it was Moses that was talking about, who said that? This is why I don't get into the Bible, because Lord knows I'm not a biblical scholar. What Jim Rohn said, I'm not an expert in the Bible like Jim Rohn, but the I am of it, understanding the root of who you are and how you show up in the world, and then feeling safe and feeling like all of the provisions will be made for you. If you're having anxiety around survival, then your root chakra is likely stuck and or otherwise needing of some healing. So that is where your root chakra is. I feel is the sacral chakra. I did a lot of work in this space. I talked about on numerous different webinars my experience with my carnelian in my underwear going to work. And it's TMI, but I'm going to tell it. The carnelian, again, is a crystal. And let me see if I have it on this altar. I have two altars now. Do I have the carnelian out here? Oh, there it is. You were hiding from me. Told you they're conscious. Here's a carnelian, just hiding back there. But we use those again to heal the sacral spaces because when I got my Reiki healing, she was feeling a lot of trauma and a lot of issues from my childhood in that particular space. So that was one of the healing modalities she gave me, was to carry that crystal in my underwear to help with that healing. And it did until I dropped it, and not this one, but another one that I have since had to dispose of in the toilet at work. But anyway, suffice to say, life comes at you fast, but stay woke. Moving on. Solar plexus chakra, I do. This is where we get into the sort of creative and the manifestation pieces of our being in this world. It's the showing up. It's the doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. If you're having issues with execution, if you're having issues with confidence, if you're having issues with showing up as your best self at that core fundamental level, then it's all these lower chakras, but it's also very much your solar plexus chakra. Moving on, heart chakra. This one's easy. This is where I love. All of us that have been going through relationships or any number of kind of family commitments or not easily opening up and letting people in, your heart chakra might need a little bit of work, but this is a fun one for me. There's so many different ways to work on your heart chakra. I have any number of candles around this. I have my passion my passion candle rather, and my heart chakra candle, my soulmate chakra candle, and every time I light them, my DMs blow up, but not one soulmate yet, but we'll see. You never know. You just never know. Moving on, throat chakra. I speak for those of us who have small voices. That's not me. That's not my ministry. Who feel like they are not being heard, who feel like they are unable to tell people no, that don't have a strong no. It may be some work you need with your throat chakra. Alternatively, some of us have an overactive throat chakra, and sometimes I fall in that lane because I run my mouth and I say what I got to say, and I say it plainly because I'm a Virgo, and sometimes I have to learn how to caution that and bring it back because they don't need the full Dewan all the time. And I'm learning that the listening piece is just important in the throat chakra. Third eye. We always hear about the sort of third eye and being able to truly see beyond what you see with your eyes, that sort of intuitive piece. And finally, the crown chakra, which is I understand. So this is a cheat sheet that I love, and I'm happy to share that with anyone who's interested in that slide. Please take a picture or a screenshot, or I can send it over to you, because it's just whenever you get confused, it's a good place to start. Now let's get into some dirty details here and towards each of the chakras. And please, if you have questions, throw something in the chat, and I'm happy to take a break and answer. So our first chakra, base of the spine. This is why massage, let me just give a quick advocate. Y'all see me at the massage parlor every month or so, and it's not because I'm stunting, it's because I'm trying to get my chakras aligned. Massages are so good for chakra alignment, and a massage practitioner, whether it be at the Ritz-Carlton or at a traditional Thai, that's fighting, or a Thai masseuse place, they can tell you where your chakras are locked up, because you'll carry tension in those spaces. They may not be a Reiki healer, but they'll know because they can feel it in your body, and they can definitely give you insight there. So advocating for massage is a brief aside. So anybody wants to go get massages, let me know, I'm down. Root chakra, red, it's at the base of the spine. Manifestation, survival, grounding, and stability. So a lot of folks on this line are looking for ways to create manifestations in their life, but if your root chakra is not aligned, or is not moving, or stuck, or any other way that not working for you, you're going to have a tough time really manifesting. That's because This is all about survival and grounding, as I mentioned before in the sort of summary slide. This is around ability to succeed, prosperity, passion and vitality, tenacity. You have blockage here. Again, it's around survival issues. I talked about the Maslow needs. If you're always worried about resourcing, money, if these things stress you out, if you're worried about any number of things, just feeling safe in your own body, in your own spaces, in a way that's beyond, I'm not talking about your intuition or your gut or your sixth sense that tells you something's off here, but just always feeling a sense of, I'm not safe in my own space, whether it be the result of some sort of childhood trauma or something else. It could be an issue with your root chakra. Now, I want to caveat one other thing. As we get through the slides, you may see some crossovers, because just like the human body, the chakras all interact with each other. So know that different influences could be manifesting with physical manifestations, could be you think in your root, but could very well be your heart. You just need to talk to a Reiki or someone that is in that space that can help you work through what it is, or someone like myself, that we could do some intuitive work to help you guide to where there may be a combination of more than one chakra you need to work on. So again, it's not a ones and zeros proposition. A lot of the times it needs to be fully examined to know where the issues are. And I'll give you some resources via email in terms of books you can read as well on these if you want to get more information. So physical manifestations, a lot of us are concerned about that. Sciatica. So, and then hips, elimination, for gentlemen, the prostate. If you're having prostate cancer, which we know with Black men is very, very, very ridiculously high rate, or eating disorders. All of these things are a result of the root chakra. And just to go back on prostrate, not feeling safe in your own space. We wonder why Black men have such a high rate of prostate cancer. I mean, just being in America, root chakra, they don't feel safe. In my opinion, it just doesn't surprise me. And I think it's very telling, as you see, we'll get to heart chakra and matters of breast cancers and other things that show up there with Black women. I just see so many correlations between all of that. Moving on. Imbalances, depression and anxiety, which I've struggled with throughout, well, not struggled with throughout my life. Let me walk that back, which I had dealt with in my life, in which I was so grateful, because I always frame things in a way that it'll be useful and abundant. I don't frame things as struggle. I frame them as a journey. But depression, anxiety, which I've dealt with professionals, nightmares are another sign of that. Overactive, lack of energy, materialism, greed, obesity, anger, and stubbornness. Again, if you're feeling like there are not enough resources, this may very well show up as materialism, or trying to hoard, or trying to eat everything in order to create a sense of comfort or safety. Again, on the deficiency side, it may show up as insecurity, restlessness, underweight, lack of discipline, disconnected, and restless. Here's where we want to get balance. You're physically healthy, you're stable, you're present, grounded, and prosperous. So those are the sort of rundown of roots to know where you stand. And some of these may be showing up, but just keep in mind, if you see something here that sort of, you can relate to, it could be root, it could be another area as we walk through them. And thinking around it, I dealt with the sciatica issue in my back before the root chakra was healed. So all of this rings very, very true to me. And if anything stands out to you, do feel free to chime in and let me know. Just want to make sure that we're doing well on time, because we have 6 more chakras to go. So moving on to the sacral chakra, or sacral chakra, orange. Below the navel. This one's all about relationships, sexuality, empathy, and pleasure. If you're blocked in your sort of sexuality, it could be a sacral chakra issue. There are so many fun ways to, she said, yes, lacking energy. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Sabrina. I just want to acknowledge your comment around the root chakra. Yeah, so we'll talk about some foods you can eat in terms of that as well when we get to that portion of the presentation. Okay, so moving back to sacral, fertility, sensuality, pleasure, all of that show up there. Joy. This is a fun chakra to heal. I'll just say it's a fun chakra to heal. Y'all don't know how I healed it. Just know that it was fun to heal it. Blockages, low self-esteem, jealousy, addictive behavior, overly skeptical, belittling oneself. I'm going to call myself out. This was all my work. Tremendous low self-esteem, petty jealousy, just scrolling through the TL, angry for no reason about somebody's life that you don't even know like that. Imagine that. Belittling oneself, seeing yourself as smaller. A lot of that showed up from just childhood and feeling like I wasn't enough. A lot of this stuff also comes from our relationships and our sort of trauma bonds or traumatized, which we're not talking about today, but things that tie back with our families. So keep in mind that an unhealed sacral chakra with your mom may show up with you. It's a real thing, and be aware that sometimes you're healing for yourself, for your mother, and for your future daughters as you do this work. And because you have a gentleman on the line as well, for your sons as well, and for fathers as well. It can be all tied, particularly in the communities of color, I believe. So physical manifestations, constipation, back pain, irregular menstruation, urinary problems, kidney infections, and gynecological cysts. Black women, again, showing up with all of these issues gynecologically. So many of the women in my life have been dealing with fibroids. It's the majority of my Black female friends have been dealing with fibroids, and I would say, in my opinion, can be very much tied back to, again, issues with the sacral, the way that America sort of shows up for us as Black women. It's no wonder that's the case. But healing here can help you heal the body, and I'm happy to expand on that as needed. So moving on, imbalances. You're emotionally unstable. You'll have sexual problems, depression, as we mentioned before. But again, depression you'll see also with root. So again, you need to know, do the full deep work to understand all of these areas as you move towards your healing. Selfish behavior, seeking power, arrogant attitude, or overly proud if it's overactive. Deficiency, rigidity in the body, emotional numbness, fear of change, lack of passions or avoidance of pleasure, boredom or fear of sexuality. Enough Catholic school will give you all of this. So if you went to Catholic school, just know that I'm joking, but I'm not, but yeah. Balanced, energetic, joyful, creative, sensual, open and honest, fertile, gentle, forgiving, creative, stable blood sugar. This is the sacral chakra. And I'm looking to see if there are any questions in the chat. Yes, fibroids. Yes, there's so many resources for Black women in fibroids. We can talk about that as well offline if others have questions. So moving on to the solar plexus, yellow. Above the navel, influences, will, power, joy, and motivation. Once you get this one going, I'm telling you, this is why I'm always so happy, because truly, truly motivation, power, and joy, and the getting out of your own way happens here. Personal power. Anybody that knows me, those are my two favorite words. Like, I'm always like, oh, it's a personal power thing. Because at the end of the day, that's where it all comes from. Confidence, charisma, humor, and leadership, mental clarity. When I start working on my solar plexus chakra, man, I can pull stuff out of my brain from 6, 7, 8 years ago. You can call people out in meetings. It's the best because you're clear. You're meditating. You're doing your work. You know what your purpose is. You can move on it. Blockages. Control issues, fatigue, hypersensitivity, lack of self-control, lack of self-worth, and pessimism. So that's how you can see where that shows up. Another good thing about chakras is when you start learning them, you can see where people are blocked in your workplace. You just know. And you stop taking stuff so personally. If you can get their birth chart and you can get their chakras issues figured out, you're like, oh, she's just a Gemini with a blocked solar plexus chakra. She's not really a terrible person. She just needs a little work. And it truly is very illuminating. And they stop giving you as many problems, especially when you get your crystals in there. Moving on. Physical manifestations, ulcer, constipation, sugar disorders, hepatitis, diabetes, addicted to stimulants. My coffee drinkers out there. Poor memory, nervousness, hyperglycemia. My people addicted to sugar out there. Solar plexus, it's poison. Imbalances, low self-esteem, nervousness, rebellious, feeling abandoned or rejected, difficulty controlling emotions. Overactive, too intellectual, anger issues, stressed, superiority complex, inferiority complex, aggressiveness. Deficiencies, depression, anxiety, insecurity, addiction, lack of boundaries. Again, on our balance, which is where we're trying to get, we have self-esteem, we have inner balance, a calm demeanor. We're patient, flexible, and comfortable in our own skin. And that is where we want to be, especially in 2020. It's such a good year for this because everything in this year, numerology-wise, is about coming to a space where we are. Oh, my mommy says she likes coffee. I like coffee too, mommy. We're going to get you some dandelion tea and get you off of coffee. Tastes the same and it's better for you. But in 2020, it's all about lining up those chakras so you can become the best version of yourself. It's a really good year for it. Moving on. Color, green, heart chakra, another fun one. Center of the chest. This is about love, trust, healing, compassion, connection, and surrender. It's really getting in there and feeling all the feels. And y'all know I've been in my feelings. If y'all follow me on IG, y'all know I just been in my feelings. I'm in love with everybody. I've been changing who I'm in love with every other month. My heart chakra is super open. But anyway, blockages, lacking empathy, overcritical of others. And caveat to the Virgos, this is how we are. So don't mean your heart chakra is broken. It's just is who we are as a person. Moving on. Overly demanding of others, tendency to play victim, overextending yourself to help others to your own detriment. And there's a lot of Black women on the line with this problem because we do this culturally. And we have to stop. We have to pour from our overflow. And I cannot stress this enough. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And this is beyond chakras. This is just a place that I'm telling you, you will burn out. So stop doing it. Feeling withdrawn or antisocial. Physical manifestations, hypertension, respiratory problems, cardiovascular problems. Breathe Right Tea is excellent for this. Breathe Right Tea. I think y'all see me drinking my tea every day. It will help you with the breathing and your heart chakra opening up. Imbalances, loneliness, demanding, critical, jealous, cold-hearted, narcissistic, heart and lung problems, asthma, and allergies. Overactive, loving indiscriminately, lack of proper boundaries, acceptance of others without discernment, codependency. Shout out to the codependents in the house. One of my issues, had to work on, still working on it. Tend to really have a whole relationship with somebody in my head and break up with them in my head and they didn't even know we was together. I'm working on it though. It's a journey. Deficiencies. Paranoid, indecisive, fear of letting go, fear of being hurt, feeling of unworthiness and love, needing constant reassurance. Open-hearted, empathetic, serenity, emotionally balanced, trustful, and tolerant. This is what we're aiming for when we have a healthy heart chakra. So we're about to, the lowers are kind of finished now. So I just want to pause for a second. I think we're doing pretty good on time. So I want to see if there are any other questions before we move on. If you see a few comments in there, I want to make sure we have time for questions. So I'm going to keep on rolling. We may go a little bit over if folks are okay, just to make sure we get all your questions in. But for your throat chakra, this is blue. I don't have a problem here, as you'll know, but qualities, truth, purpose, expression, artistry, service, and communication. Blockages, lack of control over speech. Oops, sorry about the typo. Poor listening, excessive fear of speaking, small voice. As I mentioned, you got to raise your voice to the raptors so they can hear what you have to say. Difficulty communicating feelings. Well, maybe I do got to work on throat chakras. I don't like talking about my feelings. Lack of connection with vocation, excessive shyness. I'm not saying anything against the shy folks. We know the introverts are in the building. We love y'all, but sometimes y'all got to speak up and say what you want and tell people no. Physical manifestation, mouth ulcers, dental issues, chronic sore throat. Those walking around with chronic sore throat or with like a lady in my office with bronchitis for 6 months, got to start telling the truth or make sure that you're not having issues with your throat chakra. Lying ain't on here, but lying is one of these ones too, just so y'all know. If y'all lying, it's your throat chakra. Need to work on it. So telling lies. Imbalance, trouble expressing yourself, unable to voice your opinion clearly, hearing problems, indecisive. Overactive, intimidating behavior, overly hyperactive, needing the last word. Mommy, don't you say nothing. I already know you about to call me out. Deficiency, resist changes in life, slow responses in communication, stubborn attitude, trouble swallowing. Balance, expressing your truth, great listening skills, communicating thoughtfully and clearly, very decisive, speaks mindfully and without fear. Throat chakra. Okay, moving on up to the third eye chakra. Now we get into the heavy business here. This is when you start doing your work and start messing with the tarot cards and doing all the fun stuff like I do with the birth charts. Y'all get at me. Between the eyes, your intuition, vision, and perception. You're feeling stuck in the daily grind? Third eye may be blocked. Not being able to establish a vision and realize it, like we talked about with Solange. I saw things I imagined. This is third eye. Rejection of everything spiritual. Third eye. Not being able to see the greater picture. Physical manifestations, headaches, vision problems, insomnia, sinus issues, stress, nausea, dizziness, ear problems, and hearing problems. On top of my sinus infection, I had to meditate. That was God telling me I had to meditate and get my tarot cards out, do my work. Imbalance, lack of intuition, imagination, manipulation, migraines, vision and eye problems, fear, panic, and nightmares. Overactive, difficulty concentrating, delusions, obsessions, hallucinations, mental fogginess and confusions, deficiencies, poor memory, lack of imagination, closed-mindedness. Balance, intuitive, guided, perceptive, clairvoyant, spiritual, mental strength, good vision. As I mentioned, intuitive, good memory, able to visualize, able to think symbolically, which is one of my huge things. I see symbols everywhere. Y'all know how I am about my numbers. Oh, I ordered something so good today. Y'all gonna see it soon, but I'm gonna keep going. Imaginative. I get excited about this stuff because I just get excited. I get the goosebumps. Top of the head. Y'all see my chakra scarf I have today? Has most of the chakra colors in it. Violet. Top of the head, unity, wisdom, awareness, intelligence, miracles, and bliss. This is the sweet spot. When this crown chakra is working good, you know that you've done significant amount of your work and you could continue to move forward and heal across the system. But blockages, isolation, loneliness, inability to connect with others, lack of direction, inability to set and maintain goals, physical manifestation, neurological pain, nerve pain, schizophrenia, insomnia, depression, as we see again, migraines, Alzheimer's, thyroid or pineal gland disorders, or nerve pain. Imbalances, mental disorders, fear, materialistic, again showing up, memory and learning problems, broken or spiritual crises, apathy. Overactive, need to feel indispensable, needing sympathy, extremely erotic imagination and visions. Deficiency, feeling misunderstood, feeling shamed, having a negative self-image, living in self-denial, or having a lack of tenderness. Balance, spiritual, blessed, peaceful, connected to the universe, unity, and wisdom. And that balance piece is like my I had to touch the slide. That's like my platform in a nutshell, what I'm really seeking to do in the world. So it's just such good confirmation that it's at the highest space of myself where that vision emerged. So those are the hot 7 chakras in a nutshell. So I'm going to move on to the balancing. I'm just looking at the time where we are, but I wanted to check the chat and see if there were any questions. I don't see any, but hopefully you got all that. And again, I'm going to post the slides because I know it went kind of fast to make sure everyone saw everything, and I'll again share resources. But a lot of people are curious how this relates to crystals. So I wanted to just take a little bit of time to show you all some of the crystals that connect with the various different chakra systems. So you can see when paired with certain crystals, the chakras in the bodies can be healed. You can set healing intentions in your crystals. We talked about this on the crystal webinar as well to help remove some of those blockages. So you see at the root, they have some tiger's eye and hermitite. Where's my hermitite? Here's my hermitite. So I got just about all of them back here. I have tons of those. I have others back here as well. And sacral, which is your chakra, your carnelian and your citrine. Here's my carnelian, and here's my big sexy citrine. Isn't it pretty? And again, yellow, solar plexus with the yellow citrine. I'm just going to run through some of the more popular ones. Heart. Oh, here we go. Heart. Let me knock everybody over. Sorry, guys. Here's a big rose quartz for my heart chakra, doing the work. It feels good. For your throat, azurite, aquamarine, and turquoise. I'm sure I have some back there. I don't feel like digging for everything. Third eye, lapis lazuli, and I lost my bracelet. I don't know where it is. Amethyst, here we go. Here's a beautiful amethyst for you. When I have a headache, goes right here on my head, and it just pulls the headache out. I promise you it does. Crown, diamonds, which I'm accepting. If anybody on the line wants to help me heal my crown chakra with some diamonds, please feel free to do so. Clear quartz, which we have as well. Here's some clear quartz to help in that area, as well as gold. I'm accepting gold as well. Those of you that want to leave, they call it a love gift. In the spiritual spaces, they call that as a love donation or a love gift. If y'all want to share the wealth, because everybody on this line is balling for sure, because we're abundant people. Now on to balancing with the bit of time that we have left. And as Tamara mentioned, a lot of us will go to a Reiki practitioner to get our chakras balanced. And I'll let you read the slide, but in talking about, let me back up, in talking about my experience with that, I basically went to her house with all of my crystals, which I was told to leave outside to charge under the moonlight because it was a full moon. And I did that. And she used those in the practice, and essentially, like this woman in the image is laid down, she laid me down and did both an intuitive reading on me, and she did the chakra balancing, and she was able to read the energy. And when I tell you, it felt like my soul rose above my body in that room on the table. My grandmother showed up. My grandmother has been passed away for, I think, 4 years now. So that was interesting, but I promise I'm not making this up. She was able to channel, and this may get weird for folks, but she was able to channel things she would not have known. There's no way during that session to help me realize some things that I needed to do in a spiritual surrendering space, but also a healing space. And again, that was around that sacral chakra to open that up. So the advice she gave me in the area she told me to work on what to eat, which is the next slide, was something I took very seriously. And it's been a journey, and I'm still working through all the things she told me I needed to do, but it was nothing but truth in that process. She knew from a healing standpoint where the depleted energies were, where things weren't flowing optimally. I'm all in my head. My crown chakra, she said, was overactive. She said, you do everything out of your mind. Everything is going in your head. I'm like, well, sis, again, I'm a Virgo. That's how we roll. She's like, you're going to burn yourself out if you do it that way. So again, getting everything to work in tandem and in harmony was the point of getting healed. And Tamara, please chime in if you want to talk about your experience with that in the chat or on the line, but it certainly helped me find the direction of where I was going in my spiritual work and journey, and helped me understand that some of the things are just a matter of time working through. So here it talks about using aromatherapy and essential oils. Before this session, I actually did a shower, steam shower with eucalyptus oil. You can just take the little things of that. TJ Maxx is the plug for that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. With peppermint, and just put it in your shower to help you balance your chakras. And that was before this section. I wanted to be really aligned so I could channel spirit to find the words that I wanted to communicate to you. We talked about yoga. We talked about listening to clearing tones, and anyone that does meditations via YouTube or uses singing bowls. Y'all seen the singing bowls? I'm doing the motion. I need to get some singing bowls. I don't have any. Will help you with that work as well. Moving on, because this is what I know people are interested in, eating. What am I supposed to be eating? So you need to eat the rainbow, and all of us have heard this all of our lives, but you never really tied it back to your chakras until now, and it makes so much sense. Why, when we're eating what we're supposed to eat, across the rainbow, primarily plant-based foods, why we feel better, because you're eating to restore your body and the natural flows. Excuse me, my nose is just giving me the blues with the sinus stuff. But for your overall health, for your root chakra, y'all always laugh at me. I be posting when I drink beet juice because it keeps the skin tight. I'm a whole 38, no flaws, no lines, just pure energy and you. That's from my beet juice every day. Root chakra, feeling youthful, feeling tied and safe in my health. Sacral chakras, carrots, pumpkins, oranges, and mangoes. And any kind of yellow foods up in your solar plexus chakra. There you're eating oats, which I do every day. I eat my porridge, I call it, with my organic maple syrup in there, with ginger. Shout out to my little ginger wellness shot. This thing tastes like, it's got cayenne, ginger, and lemon in it. You can see it's yellow, just like my solar plexus. And that cayenne really does light you on fire, but I tell you, it opens you up. It opens you up. Moving on to your heart chakra. This is where you're eating your green foods, leafy greens, vegetables, avocados, to which I'm allergic. But hey, y'all love the avocado. Enjoy that. It's going to open your heart chakra up. Throat chakra. Juices, figs, which I love. Oh, Trader Joe's has really cheap figs, by the way, so please get you some figs. Sea moss, sea moss, sea moss, sea moss. If I don't tell you anything else on this webinar tonight, get you some sea moss in your smoothie in the morning and change your entire life. Sabrina was asking about energy. Sea moss, sea moss, sea moss. It will help you with your energy, along with all the other things here, because again, it works in tandem. So you want to make sure that you're not eating any processed foods, no sugar, and your body will hate you for the first 2 weeks when you take the sugar out, but it will love you for the rest of your life when you do. To get to the place where you're sort of healing and moving it forward. Oh, by the way, elimination. So this is gross, but I'm going to say it. You should be eliminating 2 times a day, morning and evening. That's how you know if you're eating across the chakra foods and you're eating healthy. 2 times a day, 1, 2. Morning and evening, elimination. Crown chakra, pure water. Got to drink water. We are plants, we are trees, we are flowers, we are all the things on earth that produce life. So we cannot get by on Coca-Cola, coffee, and Red Bull alone. You have got to have water. Third eye chakra, berries, plums, and purple potatoes. And anything of these colors that's created. Oh, she just ordered some sea moss. Awesome. Hey, Sabrina, is it powdered or fresh? Just out of curiosity. We'd love to know. So those are the foods. Anything in these color ranges will tell you what you need to be eating. If you're not feeling well, you probably need some greens and some water. I would start. All right. So quick 5 before we open it up for questions. Spend time in nature. You can't be at your desk all day. Get out and practice creative visualization. This is what we did last webinar with the mind over matter, creating in your mind what you want to see out in the world. Breathe deeply, meditation, yoga, Bikram. Come to Bikram with me. Wear the right colors. You'll always see me in right colors. Yes, sea moss is the best, Kiana. I agree. Wear the right colors. Right now, I'm not wearing bright colors. I'm wearing my, the kind that meditates, wears waist beads, and Sage's t-shirt because I thought it was thematic, but definitely wearing bright colors like my head wrap here in terms of channeling those chakras. I wear yellow when my solar plexus aren't quite feeling right. And I also put the crystals in the bra. That helps as well. Greens and waters are great during your periods. Absolutely, Atoa. Greens and water are great during your life and also your period for sure, but all the time. Practice gratitude. First thing in the morning, I get out of bed, I thank God, put my feet on the floor. Second thing I do is meditate for 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what time it's looking like. Third thing I do is my is my gratitude app, and I put down 12 to 15 things I'm grateful for every day. It will change your life. All right, let's take some questions. We did it. Oh, got ahead of myself. Questions. You can unmute the line if you have questions, or you can drop them in the chat. Or if you have a comment, don't have to be a question, it could be a comment. You can just talk about anything you want to talk about. Any questions on the line?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Juan. It's Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, like with I'm calling it foundational, but the root
Yes.
chakra, I almost feel like, is that one of it? Are there any chakras that have to be dealt with first before you can move on and start working with the others?
So you answer your question in that. So let me back up. There is not, like I mentioned early in the presentation, there is not going to be a ones and zeros, yes, start here, architecture 101, this is the one you need to do first. But there will be one that you need to do first. Do you see the slight bit of the emphasis there?
Mm-hmm.
In working with your healer or your counselor or your coach in this space, they will identify based on whatever inventory or healing modality they use where you need to start. So me and you, I might have very healthy root chakra because I was raised in a very stable household. I just feel safe in my own skin. I'm confident, all those sort of things running with me, but I'm closed off to relationships. I got my heart broke. My heart chakra is a wreck. So I probably need to start there. Or it could be the crown chakra because I'm doing everything in my mind and I'm not using the other chakras to interact in the world. There could be any number of different things that influence that. So there will be a place for you to start, and it may be two places where you start. You could work on two at one time. It may not just be one. So we would work through that to figure out what makes sense for you, and then we would go from there. Does that answer the question?
It does. Thank you.
Awesome, my pleasure. So Tiffany says, any books regarding chakras? And yes, I have the book, but I want to make sure I get the name right. So I'm Googling as we talk. Alan, gosh, this man's name is Alan Pierce. Is it Alan Pierce? I'm gonna get it right. I swear by this book. I done messed this man's name. Hold up, because they like, who is Alan Pierce? You know what, Tiffany? I'm gonna get you the name of the book. I'm still unpacking, so when I find it, I'll get you the screenshot of the book and the name of the book. And it actually is amazing because it has all these different, I know that man's name is Alvin Pierce. I'm gonna figure it out. But anyway, it's not on Audible. It's only in print. You can get it in a print run on Amazon, but you can also go out to Crystal City in Virginia and get it from Sacred Circle. They have it as well. And the book changed from Alan Seal. Thank you, Etoile, because we got it when we went to Sacred Circle. Do you know the name of the book? I'm gonna try to Google it real quick while we're here, because we bought it for Etoile. We sure did. Thank you. See, the universe just provides. So that would drive me crazy. It would just drive me. Intuitive Living. How could I forget that? Intuitive Living, Alan Seal. That book has so many goodies on it. And if you don't know where to start in your chakra healing, start with that book. It will tell you. You will get it. It is amazing. And I'm sure you're working with that book now as well. Hopefully you are, and you can probably testify to how, oh gosh, it's just very powerful. That yes, it is shifting. It will definitely shift, and it has all these meditations in it, and will show you what you need to do from a meditative standpoint in terms of what to read. I think any book recommendation. What's a tea was good for the heart chakra? That is Yogi tea. It is called Breathe Right. Breathe Right tea. I'll take a picture of it and post it to the Instagram so you can see that as well. That's the tea I drink. Breathe Right from Yogi. I think it's Yogi. Oh, Sacred Woman. From what's the lady's name? I know which one you're talking about, Tiffany. Is that the one from the lady that wears the white head wraps? I try to read that too. I have that book. I know exactly what book you're talking about. Start with Alan Seal. It's a little bit more practical. Yeah, Queen Afua. That's her. So Queen Afua, bless it. She has a lot of valuable stuff in there. She's coming from a slightly different sort of fundamental approach to this space. I find a lot of value in what she does, particularly around fibroids and healing there. in terms of what you eat. But she's doing a lot of stuff based on Kemetic or Egyptian sort of tie-in. There's a lot around this, the laws of Mott, I forgot how many, I know it's hard knows how many laws of Mott there are. I think it's like 96 laws of Mott. But yeah, for me, I had to, and she's vegan, so she's gonna hate me for this, but it's the chewing up the meat and spit out the bones there. You can get value, but it is heavy and you have to take your time with it. But a lot of the stuff she's saying is around the what you eat. So you sort of just go in it, pull what you need from me with her, and then go from there. But definitely, she has a whole class up in New York. She'll put you in. And one time I thought I was going, but nah, I don't think that's my ministry right now either. Because they have some different beliefs I do, particularly around gender roles, but that's neither here. 42, thank you. I knew it was a lot of them. I said I knew it was a lot of them. 96. I'm trying to get the 10 Commandments down. They did the math on that. You know, it's however many. It's a lot. Not my ministry, like I said. Any other questions before I go down a rabbit hole? Let me climb back out this rabbit hole and see myself going. Any other questions about food? Any other questions about chakras? Any other questions about crystals? We got an eclipse coming up. That's going to be exciting. We got a full moon coming up. Get those intentions ready, manifestations ready for this full moon. I'm excited. I'll show you what else is coming up. So fun stuff coming up. What we about to do in February, Valentine's Day. We're not on Valentine's Day because y'all might have dates. I'm going to have a date too. I'm manifesting a date. There's a restaurant I want to go to in my new neighborhood. So I'm manifesting a date there with somebody I actually like for Valentine's Day. It's going to happen. I'm excited. It's going to be like a $280 date because it's real nice. Anyway, February 12th, 2020, Tarot 111, Major Arcana, Wands, Cups, Swords, and Pentacles, and magic things. We're about to do it for the Tarot. I'm excited about this one. Oh, Sabrina had a question about the other teas. Dandelion tea, breathe right tea, ginger tea, all the teas. Love it. It will change your life. Replace it with teas. Kiana has a question. How do chakras fit into numbers? Are you planning on doing a workshop on this? Kiana, asking you shall receive. So in March, my plan is to do Astrology 111 rather, and that will be where we talk about birth charts. And then at some point, I'm going to do numerology, but that probably won't be until April. But if you have questions about numerology, you can hit me and I can give you some resources so we can talk about that. So there'll be some crossover with numerology at the astrology workshop, which will be in April. Wait, I'm getting myself March rather, but in April, we're going to do numerology. So April. But like I said, we could talk about it. That's all about synchronicity and understanding how numbers are charged and what they mean. 1111 is a divine number. It's where you want to make your wishes known to the universe because it means that things are synced up. That's why we love those powerful days. Like we have one coming up. I wanted to do this tarot on 2/22/2002. I'm sorry, 20. What year is it? 2/22/2020. However, it's a Sunday, and y'all gonna be going about your Sunday things, watching 60 Minutes and carrying on. And I'm not about to be on that webinar by myself. How do the chakras fit into the numbers? Oh, we answered that one already. April. Awesome, great. When I open up the registration, I know Kiana, you will be on there. Super efficient. I love it. But we'll definitely do the tarot. I hope folks join the tarot because that's going to be fun. And don't let Catholic school or other ideas frighten you because these modalities are very much tied to the Black experience, which I'll put out there. And we'll talk about the history of that as well. And very much tied to your healing in ways that you might not have ever considered. So I got my tarot cards with me. One set. I got 3 sets. But I'm excited to do that one. And also, I'm going to be closing down registration for the Light the Universe, a Life Living course soon. So if you want to get in there with cohort 1, please reach out to me. It's going to be life-changing. And I say that not out of ego, but out of knowledge from the universe that it will change your life if you make the investment to join the course, time, monetarily, and otherwise. It will change your life. You will find a shift. You will open. You will manifest. All of the above. Any other questions before we drop? Hey, listen, guys, I appreciate you so much. It's been so real. I will hang out here for a few more minutes. I'm about to go fix me a healthy dinner. I'm eating too late. Those are the breaks with the way my life is set up. Tiffany, I will not forget to share the slides. And we actually recorded this one for sure because I did not stop